Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hoping all of you had a fantastic weekend. You know, there's these idioms out there. Things like, when it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Or don't count your chickens before they hatch. What does that have to do with what we're talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about some firearms that have really captured some national attention lately, especially in our little sphere. And I'm talking about Franklin Armory's Reformation, and in particular what we're going to be talking about today is a firearm known as the Antithesis. Because there has been all sorts of action, y'all got really, really excited, and now somebody's raining on the parade. So today, let's spend a few minutes, let's get everyone educated, and let's talk about it appears that the Antithesis is too good to be true. Okay, America, we are going to talk about something that makes the firearms industry one of the most unique manufacturing industries in the entire world, which is the strong desire and constant innovation that goes into working around the rules, working around the laws. And I get that many of these laws are completely repugnant. Many of you believe almost all of them are unconstitutional. I certainly believe that many of them are, in fact, unconstitutional. And so this has created this market of manufacturers out there who will occasionally bend the rules or find workarounds. What we're going to talk about today is a very reputable company, Franklin Armory. We're going to be talking about two firearms here, okay? We're going to first talk about a firearm known as the Reformation. Now, the Reformation is a straight rifled bore. That means it has no twist. It's a firearm that's chambered usually in .300 blackout or .556. The firearm we're going to spend the most attention on today is one of their newer models called the Antithesis. The Antithesis, though, has a rifled barrel, usually chambered in .556, but it can also fire multi-projectile ammunition such as .410 shotguns shells. That is huge because when I want you to take a look at the unique features of both of these firearms, I'm not going to give you the statutory definitions. And you're going to see here is what Franklin Armory did was develop firearms that absolutely positively work around the plain language of the statute. Let me show you what I mean. Rifle is defined in 18 United States Code section 921A7, which reads, the term rifle means a weapon designed or redesigned, made or remade, and intended to be fired from the shoulder and designed or redesigned and made or remade to use the energy of an explosive to fire only a single projectile through a rifled bore for each single pull of the trigger. Okay, and so where both of these firearms found workarounds is with the Reformation, it is a straight bore, which means it does not have a rifled bore, which means it does not fall under the definition of rifle. And then for the Antithesis, because it fires different types of ammunition, rifle rounds as well as shotgun rounds, it doesn't fall under the definition of rifle because it fires more than a single projectile through a rifled bore. Now, even though these firearms come with barrels less than 16 inches, they are not going to fall under the definitions of short barrel rifle or short barrel shotgun because when we look at that language, the term short barrel rifle means a rifle having one or more barrels less than 16 inches in length or has an overall length of less than 26 inches. But remember, a rifle requires a rifled bore, which means the Reformation automatically does not fall into that definition. And for the Antithesis, because it fires more than just a single projectile, it doesn't fall under the definition of rifle and therefore can't fall under the definition of short barrel rifle. And you sit there and go, okay, but wouldn't these be short barrel shotguns, right? Well, we'd have to take a look at 18 United States Code section 921A5. That defines the term shotgun means a weapon designed or redesigned, made or remade, and intended to be fired from the shoulder, and designed or redesigned and made or remade to use the energy of an explosive to fire through a smooth bore, either a number of ball shot or a single projectile for each single pull of the trigger. But neither one of these firearms have a smooth bore. Okay, Franklin Armory is onto something, right? Except that the ATF on December 19th, of 2019 classified both of these firearms as falling under the purview of the National Firearms Act. That's right, they believed that both of these firearms constituted short barrel firearms, short barrel rifles, or short barrel shotguns, and therefore could be sold, but under the purview of the NFA. Of course, that led Franklin Armory to file a lawsuit against the ATF, and away we go. That lawsuit makes it all the way to the 8th Circuit. And then on February 18, 2025, the 8th Circuit rules, Franklin Armory designed the Antithesis to fire multiple kinds of ammunition. The weapon does not fire only a single projectile. Firing multiple projectiles is not incidental or a byproduct. The Antithesis is a square peg, and calling it round will not change how it fits into the round hole of these statutes. Therefore, ATF exceeded its authority by not giving the plain meaning to the words of the statute. Not the first time that the ATF has done that, and the court ultimately grants summary judgment for Franklin Armory and forces ATF into a settlement agreement. On August 26, 2025, as part of that settlement agreement, ATF issues a new open letter discussing both of these firearms. Now, we're going to link the whole thing up down below. We're going to read to you the pertinent parts because this is what got everyone in the 2A community all hyped up. Pursuant to the settlement agreement between the United States of America and the Firearms Regulatory Accountability Coalition and Franklin Armory, Inc., ATF is rescinding the 2019 open letter regarding the Franklin Armory Reformation firearm. Now, even though the letter predominantly deals with the Reformation, they also bring up the Antithesis, okay? And this is the paragraph that had everyone super excited. As a result of the agreement, the Antithesis is not a rifle, short barrel rifle, nor is it an NFA firearm. Therefore, 1, no NFA forms are necessary to sell, transfer, transport, deliver, or otherwise deal in or possess the Antithesis, and 2, no ATF Form 5320.20 is necessary to transport the Antithesis across state lines because the firearm is not subject to the National Firearms Act. Okay, so now it appears that the Antithesis is totally good to go. Now, I want you to know that when Franklin Armory launched this project back in September of 2024, their official announcement included, Franklin Armory, one of America's leading manufacturers of innovative firearms and accessories, announced today the launch of the Antithesis, a new class of rifled, short-barrel firearms completely unregulated by the National Firearms Act. Okay, little braggadocious, Franklin Armory also went on to claim. Franklin Armory is now shipping 12.5-inch, 12-inch, and 7.5-inch barrel configurations of the new Antithesis short barrel Franklin firearm line, each chambered in 5.56 NATO. And then they went on to further state, Franklin Armory's Antithesis features a rifled barrel, yet is free and clear from any NFA restrictions due to its unique characteristics of being designed and intended to fire both single and multiple projectile fixed cartridges. A federal district court earlier this year ruled that the Antithesis cannot be considered a rifle under either the NFA or the Gun Control Act based on the definition used in both statutes. Now, do they have the right to market this way? Absolutely they do. We've already been doing a lot of things about free speech. They do have the right to market this way. But you have to understand what attention this type of marketing can bring to a product. Because Franklin Armory also went on to claim, recognizing the potential for Antithesis to positively impact the larger firearms industry, Franklin Armory is offering licensing rights to other manufacturers. Manufacturers interested in licensing Antithesis can send emails of inquiry for additional details too. So with all this in mind, when that letter dropped on August 29th, there were more content creators than I can shake a stick at, basically spiking the football on the ATF. And was this a positive development? It most definitely was. Now, there were a lot of people who made it seem like this was the greatest thing that had ever happened and we were this close to taking the NFA down with it. It wasn't really that, but it drew a lot of attention to that firearm, and it probably helped Franklin Armory with their sales. So with all the hoopla, part of which was created by content creators, where did that get us? Well, it not only got the attention of a lot of potential consumers, it apparently got the attention of the ATF as well. Because now, literally all information about the Franklin Armory Antithesis has been pulled down off the website from Franklin Armory. with the exception of this statement right here. Franklin Armory, one of America's leading manufacturers of innovative firearms and accessories, issued the following statement today regarding Franklin Armory's Antithesis line of short-barreled firearms. Last night, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives requested that we voluntarily bring back all 5.56 caliber Antithesis firearms in advance of the agency issuing a new classification. We were surprised by this in light of the U.S. District Court's ruling in Frack v. Bondi. And that is the case that we actually quoted the Eighth Circuit on. The statement from Franklin Armory goes on to state, out of an abundance of caution and for the well-being of consumers, dealers, and distributors, we are voluntarily requesting all of our customers to return their 5.56 caliber Antithesis firearms for a full refund. Okay, I want you to understand that. Franklin Armory is asking that all of you return those firearms and you will get a full refund. The statement concludes, we encourage customers who have taken possession of an Antithesis firearm to contact Franklin Armory customer service for a return merchandise authorization and shipping label. This return does not affect Reformation, the 410-45 LC Antithesis, or any other firearms made by Franklin Armory. So I want you to understand this is only the Antithesis 5.56. As facilitators of freedom, we are actively raising our concerns with various entities within Congress and the Trump administration. We are also hopeful that continued negotiations with ATF can arrive at a solution that avoids litigation if at all possible. Be assured this will not be the final chapter on the Antithesis. Okay, and yes, Franklin Armory has definitely shown a willingness to file litigation and take this to court, and that may be where this is headed. But where does it sit now if you are a owner, a proud new owner of a Franklin Armory Antithesis 5.56? Well, here's what we know. Every bit of information that they ever published on that has all been taken down. All their videos have been either taken down or turned to private links, okay? And the reason is that the ATF is obviously going to reclassify this as an SBR. Am I saying that the ATF is right? I rarely say that the ATF is right. I'm just telling you that's what they're going to do. And yes, there will probably be a lawsuit. And you will remember that all of this started in 2019, and here we are in 2025, so we see how fast those lawsuits work. Yes, will there be litigation? If this is the result, yeah, I can assure you that Franklin Armory is going to fight like holy hell, and they probably should. This is going to take time. Now, there is a 4473 out there for anybody who lawfully purchased one of these firearms that's going to tell us exactly what date you took possession of it and exactly what you took possession of. And undoubtedly, in the next few weeks, what you're going to be in possession of, if you still have one of these, is something that the ATF is going to have classified as an SBR. Understand that under applicable federal law, you are looking at up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine if you are found to be in possession of an unregistered short barrel rifle. So is it my advice to immediately ship these back to Franklin Armory? Well, you're a big boy or big girl. You could probably figure that out for yourself, and you certainly understand the potential risk if you decide to hang on to this particular firearm at the current time. What likely is going to come of this? I have no clue. We will likely have more clarification in the coming week, and we will obviously keep you posted. But if there might have been just a little less fanfare, maybe a little bit quieter of a rollout, maybe just a little less chatter out on all the social media platforms, I don't know if this would have actually drawn the attention of ATF. I don't know if we would be in this situation, but the bottom line is this is the situation we're in. We're a long way from having it resolved. Okay, listen, we're going to go ahead and put some links down in the description box of everything we relied upon in making this video, including some links so you can actually see photographs of what these firearms look like, because if I put photographs of firearms out here on my channel, Google has a tendency to absolutely crap its pants. Okay, listen, if you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, click on that link right there and tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the information on that is down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.